there, fellow explorers. Today, we're going to continue our look at all of the Disney Cruise Line ships and go on to the Disney Fantasy. The Fantasy. Back to our regularly scheduled Spirit jerseys. We'll explore what makes her different than the Dream, how they're similar in a lot of different ways, what we like, what we don't like. So, let's set sail. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Where are they going? What'll they see? It's J&T exploring.
So the Fantasy is the fourth ship in Disney's fleet. It set sail in 2012, and her godmother is Mariah Carey.
She can't hear the music.
The decor inside the ship is Art Nouveau, and the statue in the atrium is Minnie Mouse.
Yes.
In a really pretty peacock dress.
Yeah. And it matches, the chandelier is like all peacock, like feathers coming down. It's cute.
Yeah.
And on formal night on the Fantasy, she actually wears that same dress that she's wearing in the statue.
I think there's also peacock feathers in the carpet in the atrium.
Yeah, the Grand Atrium has a lot of like peacock.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's pretty. It's very similar to the Dream because they are sister ships, but they each definitely have their own flair.
Totally, yeah. So again, a lot of things that we talked about on the Dream are gonna carry over into the Fantasy. The layout is the same, the size is the same, it still carries about like 4,000 passengers like the Dream does. But it does, like Jamie said, have a lot of things that set it apart. Actually, personally, I like the Fantasy better than the Dream, even though they're so similar. There are some thematic elements that we'll get into later that just like take it above the Dream for me.
Yeah, I would agree. So let's start talking about our favorite subject again, the food. The Fantasy has cabanas, just like the four ships before her. It's that Finding Nemo theme again. Still very beachy, lots of really good food.
Cabanas on the Fantasy is identical to Cabanas on the Dream.
Yeah.
As we leave Cabanas, then we're on to the Sweet Shop. Like we said, there's a Sweet Shop on the bigger ships. This one is called Sweet on You. It's super cute. It's themed more to like a Parisian like patisserie almost. There's like the metal chairs inside, and it has like the gelato, and there's like a statue of Mickey and Minnie at a table eating their little like sweets. But they've got the gelato, they've got like bag snacks that you can buy, like popcorn and stuff that you can get inside the Disney parks. They've got like specialty cupcakes and cookies and things like that.
The theming to me feels reminiscent of like the new Mickey shorts.
Oh yeah, I think the animation style is like the same.
Yeah. It's very cute in there. So out on the pool deck, we have Flo's Cafe again. So you're gonna get Luigi's Pizza, Mater's Grill, and Fillmore's Favorites.
Just like on the Dream, at Flo's Cafe, Luigi's is pizza and pasta, Mater's Grill is burgers and chicken tenders, and then Fillmore's Favorites is more like salads and wraps and light sandwiches and stuff.
Along with ice cream and Frozone treats, which is my personal favorite for that Dole Whip with rum. So good. And moving on to rotational dining, we of course have Animator's Palette again. This Animator's Palette is identical to the one on the Dream as well, so it's like that Turtle Talk with Crush.
Yeah, this is one of those things that carries over identically from the Dream. So you're sitting there at dinner and you're talking with Crush and he's interacting with your table, and then everyone like goes swimming through the EAC.
It's fun. There's a little like show for everyone. Everyone can play along.
And then the next restaurant in rotational dining is Royal Court. That's the one that's right off of the atrium again, similar to Royal Palace, but it's called Royal Court on this ship. Again, very similar. It's themed to like all of the princesses, general fine dining restaurant vibes. Nothing crazy about Royal Court versus Royal Palace. They're essentially the same. They have the same menu.
Yeah, you're gonna get the same experience.
Delicious food.
Yes, love the food.
This is again where you can get like more French themed food. You can get the escargot, you can get the baked brie.
French onion soup. And then last but certainly not least is Enchanted Garden. Again, this is identical to the one on the Dream, so it's themed after the Gardens of Versailles. It's beautiful, and I personally love this menu. It's probably one of my favorites. It's very fresh.
Yeah, there's a lot of seafood, there's a lot of just like light, fresh ingredients on it, which I guess makes sense for like garden
Yeah.
theme. But I agree. I probably like the menu in Enchanted Garden better than the one in Royal Court.
Yeah. So the show at Enchanted Garden is that it goes from day to night, and by the end of your meal, it's nighttime, and you can see like the stars twinkle, and I think there's a couple shooting stars.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cute.
And the light fixtures on the ceiling that are flowers all like open and close.
Yeah.
This is the restaurant with their really popular tuna tower. The ahi tuna avocado.
It's really good.
It's so good. So that's all for rotational dining. Then we move up to the specialty restaurants again. So first up is going to be Palo. Just like all the other ships, Palo is an Italian restaurant. You can get delicious steaks. You can get delicious pasta. They have a great wine selection. You can go here for dinner or for brunch. The brunch is super good as well, although it will sell out. It just always sells. Any brunch sells out, but they offer it on the sea days. So if you're going on a cruise, I would highly recommend trying to book Palo brunch.
Yeah, it's really great.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite meals on the cruise line.
You know, we can't talk about Palo without at least mentioning the antipasto. If you're there for dinner, you should get the antipasto.
It's so good. The souffle is also really good.
Oh my god, we haven't even mentioned! Palo's
Yeah.
famous for their chocolate souffle. At the beginning of the meal, they will ask you if you want the souffle because it takes your entire meal for them to make it. And the souffle is good, especially if you're like a chocolate fiend. They also have an amaretto souffle as well. Both are really good, but they are like known for their souffles. So if it's your first time at Palo and you like that sort of thing, I definitely think you should get it.
At least one time.
Yeah.
It's really good. And they have a whole show. They come out and like pour the sauce into your souffle. And
It is worth mentioning also that like Jamie's favorite dessert at Palo is a selection of gelatos. And they have a strawberry basil.
Yeah, so they have this other dessert, is a vanilla panna cotta that comes with a strawberry basil ice cream. The last time that we were at Palo, I ordered the ice cream flight and asked specifically if I could get, instead of one of their options, if I could get the strawberry basil, and they were more than happy to switch it out for me because I love that ice cream so much.
It's really good.
And then, just like the dream, we have Remy, which is the French fine dining restaurant, adults only, super nice.
Oh.
We went to Remy for brunch for the first time just a little while ago. Some of the best food I've ever eaten in my entire life.
Yeah, it was no joke. And we did the champagne pairing with it, which was so nice. I think it's worth mentioning also, like, I know a lot of people have this sort of image as to what, like, the fine dining restaurants are going to be like they're going to be stuffy. And like, yes, there's a dress code you have to adhere to because they're trying to elevate and like maintain that special atmosphere. But it's not stuffy at all. All of the staff makes all of the food so accessible. Everything that comes to the table, they explain in detail where it comes from, why it's in the meal. And so it really helps, at least like for me, like I felt like I get a better appreciation of the food.
Yeah.
I understand why it's all there together and like the work that went into it, which I think just makes it even more special and doesn't make me feel like, oh, I shouldn't be in here. It makes me feel like, oh, I'm now part of it. Like I'm educated and I'm...
Yeah. It's really great. It doesn't feel like stuffy or inaccessible at all.
On our upcoming vacation, we're going to Remy for dinner and I cannot wait.
Yeah, we're so excited.
I just, based off of brunch solely, I can't wait for
We
dinner.
should also mention, Remy is more like a chef's tasting menu. So they'll just, unless you request different things, they'll bring you out a set menu.
Yeah, the chef has prepared items, like, 4, 5, 6, 7 courses that all complement each other in order with like whatever's fresh and seasonal.
And just like we did the champagne pairing for brunch, you can do a wine pairing with dinner.
Which I will be doing.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
And then of course, sandwiched in between the two is the Meridian Bar. Super cute, themed to travel. So like the cushions on the couches look like luggage, and there's like maps on the wall. It's really cute.
Yeah, there's a nice outdoorsy area if you want to go out and like out on the veranda and wait for your table out there. A lot of people, if they're going to like Palo or Remy, they go, and if they're there early, they like go into the Meridian, have like an aperitif and just like relax before their table is ready.
So now on to kids clubs. We have the same kids clubs that we have on all the other ships. So Small World Nursery, which again is an extra charge, and you do have to plan in advance when you're going to be taking your child there. It's for children from like 6 months to 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Oceaneer Club and Oceaneer Lab, and that is 3 to 12. Then we have Edge, which is 11 to 14, so kids from 11 to 12 can kind of pick and choose which club that they fit into best. And then there is Vibe, the teen club, which is for kids 14 to 17. And so again, a little bit of room for fitting in with the correct group when you're like at the cusp, because you can do either Vibe or Edge at 14.
Right, well, and I think that's nice because like when you're in a transitional age like that, in like tween age, you know what I mean? Sometimes some kids are going to relate more to kids a little bit younger than them, and some kids are going to relate to kids a little bit older than them. So I think that's really thoughtful that they allow flexibility in that.
Yeah. And if you have kids that are nervous about like maybe being away from you as their adult, or nervous about like making friends, the girl that was on our last cruise that went to the kids clubs said that they are really great about like the first day activities, like the get to know you and making everyone feel comfortable and welcome. Definitely give it a try.
If you're enjoying this video, give us a thumbs up and a subscribe so we can make even more. Plus, when the kids are away at the kids club, that means the adults get to exhale and just relax. A little time for you. Now that we put the kids in the kids club, we get to take the adults and go to the adult-only areas on the ship. So just like the other ships, there is an adult-only section on the ship. This one is called Europa, and it's all themed to different places around Europe.
Yeah, it's really fun. I liked it a lot better than the district on the Dream. I just preferred the theming of Europe to like nightclub.
Yeah, the theming on the Dream was fine. I felt like the theming on the Fantasy feels more like classic Imagineering in a way, rather than just like, ooh, New York nightclub, like throughout all of the venues. It was like, you know, when you walk into like, the first place you go is La Piazza, which is Italian themed, and there's a huge carousel in the middle of the room and like a Vespa over there that you can sit on. And when you go a little bit further, you're at Ooh La La, which is like a French champagne bar, and outside of there it changes into like cobblestone streets, and like inside it's very like Parisian themed.
It's very pretty, like velvet couches. There's this really cool glass like piece of art behind the bar that is, it looks like eternity of bubbles.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Oh, it's worth mentioning also, we haven't mentioned this in the other videos, usually in the adult-only lounge areas, at some parts of the day, they put like food out there for you to snack on, which like, you know, if you've had maybe one too many, maybe load up on some of the food.
And then there's also O'Gill's Pub, which is also on the Magic, but they're a little bit different. The theming's pretty similar, but it's cute. Again, it's about the leprechaun that like meets the fish.
And then next to O'Gill's is the Skyline Lounge, which is just like it is on the other ships. You sit inside this like penthouse vibe, and you watch the window, and every few minutes the skyline changes to a different major city skyline in Europe.
And then at the other end of Europa, we have the Tube, which is like Evolution, so they do most of the like game shows, bingo, stuff like that in the Tube. It's really cool. It's themed to the London Underground. And they have a big clock on the ceiling, like Big Ben.
The bar is all like cogs inside of like the clock.
Yeah. They have seating, like looks like you're on a train.
Yeah, like the bars you hold on to when you're on like a subway or like an underground train system.
Yeah.
The theming's really great in here. It's also where, like we said before about Evolution, it's where the variety acts, like when we were last on the Fantasy, we saw a magician in the tube. We saw a professional juggler, which was so cool. I'm sorry, I was a hater. I was going in like, no, we have time before dinner. We might as well see the juggler. And it was such a cool show. It was crazy.
Yeah, I'll say it again. Don't sleep on those acts because they are really great.
Yeah. And then also it's worth mentioning the bathrooms in Europa. They're down this hallway that's all themed to like Barcelona. So it's all like very Gaudi and, the walls are all wavy with like plastering and stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. And also in the bathroom, there's a big mosaic mural of like a flamenco dancer in the women's restroom and a matador in the men's.
Yeah, they were cool. And I think Europa's one of the spots on the Fantasy that really like takes it just above the Dream for me. I think the theming was so good in there. We honestly like didn't spend a ton of time in the district because the theming just doesn't appeal to me as much. But the theming of like this like tiny little wander around all of Europe while you're like in these bars, like theming, I don't know, that was very much more my speed. And I felt like I said, it was much more like classic Disney Imagineering.
Yeah. But I do appreciate that each ship is a little bit different, so you can choose what's gonna be best for you and whoever you're going with.
Right, and that's smart because not everybody has the same taste.
You might want crazy New York nightclub.
Right, the thought of like the paparazzi red carpet might be your speed, it's just not mine. In the atrium, just like on the Dream, there is a bar there. It's called the Bon Voyage Bar. This isn't, again, adults only, but obviously only people of legal drinking age can get an alcoholic beverage.
And then on the pool deck, we also have adults only areas. The Cove pool, so there is a bar there, Currents.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously there's the coffee shop, which is my personal favorite, Cove Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. And again, you can use your punch card that they give you at any Cove Cafe across cruise lines, so it's really great. And then of course we have Satellite Falls, which is like the satellites and they have water coming down, so it's like not a pool necessarily, but
it's more like it's like the same vibe as, you know when you go to a pool and there's like a bench, but there's like water running down the back of the bench? It's like that vibe, but when you're in the benches, there's water, like rain falling off of the satellite in front of you.
yeah.
So you're sort of like in this little like grotto, but it's a satellite.
And since we're already talking about the pool deck, let's talk about some of the pools on the pool deck. So we have Nemo's Reef, which is the splash pad for the little kids. We have Mickey's Pool and Donald's Pool.
Mm-hmm. And then we've also got the Aqua Lab, which is like the splash pad for the older kids again. And then we've got the Aqua Duck, which is the water coaster. It's just like the one on the Dream. So you get in the funnel, you ride the tube around, the tubes are clear, so you're like hanging over the edge of the ship. It's almost like, I don't know, it's fun. It's a fun mix, the aqueduct, because you get on it and it's like, you whip around and then you're like blasting up the hills and down, but then it's almost like a lazy river.
Yeah.
You're just sort of like casually gliding through the tube as you like overlook the ocean.
Yeah.
I love the aqueduct.
I do too.
On our next cruise, where we're going is not going to be super warm, but like, I still want to ride the aqueduct because it's so much fun.
It's a good slide.
Even if I'm not going to be in the pool at all, I still like want to ride the aqueduct.
And then we also have Goofy's Sports Deck, which is obviously not a pool, but they have mini golf. There is basketball, hoops, I think ping pong, foosball, and then again we have those like simulator sports things.
Golf simulator things.
Yeah, golf.
We said it in our last video, but like I love mini golfing on the ship. It's so much fun, and it's such like I don't know, it's one of those weird things where you're like, I guess I'm mini golfing like on a ship in the ocean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I love it.
And the golf balls are made of wood, so if it falls off the side of the ship, they are biodegradable. It's not going to harm the environment at all, which I enjoy.
Yeah. So on your incredible Disney cruise vacation, you may want to bring home some souvenirs. Can't relate. I don't know where these all came from. So let's go into shopping. Now, just like on the Dream, there's sort of like a main shopping hub on deck 3 right outside the Walt Disney Theater. And this is where you'll have the 3 main stores. So you've got Mickey's Main Sale, which is gonna have more of like the family-oriented things. There's kids sections with like costumes. You're gonna have a lot of like the Disney Cruise Line merchandise, magnets, keychains, t-shirts. That's also usually the store where like if you're going on a themed night, like a Marvel night, or like there's Pirate Night, there will be a section of merchandise devoted to like whatever night that is if you want to like buy it.
And then we also have White Caps, which is a bit more high-end. This is gonna have like your watches, perfume and cologne, handbags,
jewelry,
and sundries. And they also have like mugs and t-shirts too, just not as much of a selection as Mickey's Main Sale.
Oh, they'll also have like the like Nike Sport like polo section is in there.
They might also have Tommy Bahama sometimes.
And luggage.
Yes.
They got everything. This ship has everything. And then in the middle, you've got Sea Treasures, which is honestly just sort of like a combination of the both.
Yeah.
You've got merchandise sort of in the middle, you know what I mean? You've got like a Tommy Bahama shirt, and you've got like a designer bag, but then you've also got Spirit jerseys and mugs and picture frames and like this succulent we got in Sea Treasures.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who are feeling real fancy, there's also a Bulgari on the ship. It's just past the like other shops there. And so Bulgari is like a luxury jewelry company, but they do like bags and sunglasses and things like that.
And then also up by D Lounge, there is Tiffany's, so you can go have your breakfast. Obviously, Tiffany's is like jewelry, really expensive jewelry. Sunglasses, they also have...
Cat! Disney Cruise and Tiffany do have a partnership, so I know they have specific like Tiffany charms you can get on like the Fantasy Tiffany store has like a Tiffany charm that says Fantasy.
And then of course there's shutters, just like on all the ships. You can book like a professional session where they take portraits, or you can just get the pictures that they've been taking throughout your cruise at the little kiosks. And then on the pool deck there's Who's Its and What's Its, which just like on the Dream, it's gonna be things that you need for around the pool. I think they have like some pool toys, swimsuits, rash guards, sometimes hats, sunscreen, stuff like that is gonna be up there.
Oh, it's worth mentioning also, we haven't said it in our other videos, if you want to go shopping, the shops on the ship will not be open while you're at port because of like laws and like different regulations. They can only be open once you've left port. So if you're thinking, oh well, I'll just go back to that store when it's less crowded, when like people are at port but I'm not necessarily getting off, like you can't go into the stores because they'll be closed until you leave.
Right. Just like on the rest of the ships, we have a movie theater. You can see your first run movies. We might get to do that on our upcoming cruise, we just realized.
Yeah, the Haunted Mansion movie's coming out like right before we go, and Haunted Mansion is my favorite ride in the parks. So like, I mean, quite honestly, I sort of like don't go to movie theaters anymore. I'll just wait till it comes on Disney Plus and like eat what I want and be able to pause it if I need to go to the bathroom. But you can go to the movie theater on the ship for free. So like we already talked about, if there's nothing else, like if there's not like a trivia or something that we really want to do, maybe we'll go see Haunted Mansion on the ship.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Your perilous power portrays an aura of seasickness.
And then we also have the Walt Disney Theater. And on the Fantasy, we have Frozen, a musical adventure. We have Believe, which is the Disney variety show. And then we have Aladdin. So like Frozen, which I didn't say, Frozen and Aladdin are shortened versions of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So the same storyline, it's just gonna be shorter.
Yeah, we actually went and saw the Aladdin show this last time on the Fantasy. And it was fun, it was cute. The genie was like probably like the main reason to go see the show.
Yeah, he steals the show.
Yeah, it's fun because like you go into these shows, I mean, you know, if you're on a Disney cruise, chances are you've seen the movie, you can like recite all of the songs. So it was fun because the genie character has a lot of freedom to like interact with the audience and like break the fourth wall and sort of improvise things. So it was fun to be like, what's he gonna say?
He makes it a lot more modern. Makes modern jokes, I guess.
Yes. And then like on the other ships, if you need a little extra rest and relaxation, there is the Senses Spa, where you can go get massages and facials, hot stones, you can get a body wrap, you can get cellulite treatments.
They have those special couples rooms that have like a little outdoor patio with a hot tub.
They've got the rainforest room, which has aromatherapy showers. It's got a bunch of different saunas in there, and it's got the heated lounge chairs. And attached to the spa is also the gym, which we don't talk about the gym a lot because we really don't. I'm not gonna exercise on my vacation. I'm there to enjoy myself, and I wish I was one of those people who enjoyed exercise, but I just don't. But the gym is really nice. We've gone to the gym to like look at it, and there's tons of great machines. There's lots of space. They've got like a water bar with like, cucumber water and lemon water and like things like that. So it's a really nice like exercise facility if you are like trying to continue your exercise routine. That's just not me.
It's also at the front of the ship, so you get really great views. Because the whole wall is windows, so you just watch the ocean as you are on the treadmill if you want. Also, connected to Senses Spa is a juice bar on the Fantasy, where I think they do like fresh squeezed juices.
So Jamie, where can I go on the Disney Fantasy?
So the Fantasy mostly does Caribbean cruises. You can go to the Western Caribbean, the Eastern Caribbean, the Southern Caribbean. They have cruises to Bermuda,
Bahamas.
the Bahamas, yep.
That whole Beach Boys song.
Pretty much. Yeah. So on a Western Caribbean cruise, most of them range from, I think, 5 to 7 nights, and they stop in Cozumel, Mexico, Falmouth, Jamaica, Grand Cayman, and Castaway Cay.
On an Eastern Caribbean, you can go to the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, St. Martin, and Castaway Cay again.
And on a Southern Caribbean cruise, you can hit ports like Antigua, the British Virgin Islands, Dominica, and St. Lucia. The Fantasy, I also saw, is going to be making stops in the brand new private island, Lighthouse Point.
I can't wait to see Lighthouse Point.
Me either. There's some good Bahamian itineraries where they hit both Castaway Cay and Lighthouse Point. There's even some, I'm not sure if it's Eastern or Western Caribbean cruises that'll hit both. So super exciting. I can't wait to go to that new island.
So there's some information about the Disney Fantasy.
We've only been on the Fantasy once, but we really enjoyed the ship. It's my personal favorite between the Fantasy and its sister ship, the Dream.
Yeah, I just think I enjoyed the theming a bit better, like I said.
Yeah. So we hope this video has helped you learn more about the Disney Fantasy. If you are booking a cruise on the Fantasy soon, or maybe you're still just trying to learn which ship is best for you and your family. So until next time, keep on exploring.